Years. Please welcome to the stage County Administrator Jonathan Winkley.
No.
Good afternoon, Madison. How is everyone?
Hot.
Warm, hot, sweaty, but we're going to do it together. This is about celebrating our nation. We'll also talk about Madison's role in that. I know it's hot, but as I said earlier when I was talking to Mr. Crane over here, you'll meet momentarily. We will have the Culpeper Minutemen. They are actually in their period costume, so we cannot complain about the heat when those brothers will be marching around. So look for them to interact with the crowd. So before we get started, I'll have a few open remarks and I'll introduce the chairman. But I tell you, this is a patriotic day. So can we get a chant of USA going on? USA! 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 All right, I don't want to take up all my time. So we appreciate you coming here. I'm going to do a quick few housekeeping items so you know where to go or where you would like to go. Stay as long as you want. We're not throwing you out, even though the program does run 5 to 8:30. Food trucks over here, so at 5:45 there will be an intermission. Our wonderful DJ, John James, I was going to call you Jonathan, there can't be two of us. He'll be playing some music along the way. We appreciate you, sir, last minute being able to save the day for us. Keep Austin Boggs in your prayer. He had having a health matter going on. But make use of the food truck. The museum is open today. Please go in there. And I believe I was told there's some colonial chocolate, Miss Mal. So that colonial recipe, if you have a sweet tooth, let your kids have some chocolate today. It is colonial chocolate. The library is open. There's several things there. I believe some maps, different things of the county. Please enjoy yourself. Unfortunately, I could not get the misting tent closer because there's no water feature here. But in between the Kemper Mansion and the County Administration Building, there is a misting tent there. Please make use of that. I believe every vendor table has water. They're not charging you for water. Please make sure you stay hydrated. The County Administration Building, if you walk all the way down that pavement to the sidewalk, the double doors are open. There's bathrooms, sinks, the auditorium to sit in. I believe Mr. Barry, our IT director, has, I think maybe the Patriot plan. And then there's a couple water fountains to fill up your bottles. So please. Oh, and the first 250 people here. Now please stay.
No.
They didn't want me to say it. The first 250 people, I believe Guilt Cravens is giving out 250 Fat Boy ice creams. And if you haven't seen them, you're missing out. They're a fan favorite of the weekly household. That's my wife. She's back there. So without further ado, thank you for being here. I'll be back up momentarily, but at this time it is my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the Madison County Board of Supervisors, Mr. Cardi Yao. Cardi.
Yeah, thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Madison County Board of Supervisors, it's my honor and privilege to welcome all of you as we gather to celebrate a truly remarkable milestone, 250 years. Today is more than an anniversary. It's a moment to reflect on who we are, where we've come from, and the community that we continue to build together. So I want to thank Supervisor Nancy Sharman and everyone who helped make this day possible, all our volunteers, and there are many, our county staff, our local organizations, and the many hands behind the scenes who have dedicated countless hours to bring this celebration to life. Your efforts reflect the very best of Madison County. We started on this in February, I think it was, so there's been many, many meetings. So as we enjoy today's events, our history, our music, our fellowship, let's take pride in the legacy we inherit and the responsibility that we have to carry it forward. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of Madison County's story. And thank you for helping us celebrate 250 years of community, heritage, and home. Welcome and enjoy this historic day. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Bobby Crane, the commander of the American Legion, who will lead us in a pledge of allegiance and of the color guard. Mr. Crane?
Good evening, people. Colors post. While we're doing that, we were supposed to have the 21 gun salute, but we had to cancel it due to medical problems with a couple of our volunteers, and we're going to continue on from there. So we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Meanwhile, we have the American flag is being carried by retired Lieutenant Graham Davis. Lieutenant Colonel. Oh man, that wears the new uniform of the United States Army. This is the one that was used back in the old days. So some of you guys, they got a little age on, you may recognize that uniform. He also was the commander for the 82nd Airborne in Iraq. The state flag is carried by retired Lieutenant Colonel Mark Farmer, Air Force. He also flew the B-52 and up to the 141 aircrafts. And the one who's carrying the Madison County flag is carried by Jonathan Weekly, your county administrator. So we put them all together to make this county what it is today. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. You can put your hand over your heart. And for you retired, you can also put your hand over your heart or salute the flag. It's entirely up to you. After that, the choir will do the national anthem. All together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to the Madison Community Choir for that At this time, I would like to introduce Pastor Jeff Tucker to lead us in a prayer. Jeff?
Good afternoon, everybody. I have been tasked with asking the Lord's blessing upon this special occasion, and it's fitting and proper, and it's my honor and privilege to do so. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today with thankful hearts, knowing that this is indeed the day which you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. We will rejoice and be glad as we gather to celebrate for the 250th birthday of our nation. We thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us, for the freedoms we enjoy, for our beloved Madison County, a very special place you have given us to call home on this side of glory, and for all our family, friends, and neighbors gathered here today. We pray for your hedge of protection around each one in this heat, along with a special healing request for young Austin Boggs, who cannot be with us due to a medical emergency. Please help us to be ever mindful, Lord, that freedom most certainly is not free. And we thank you for the sacrifices of those who came before us that make such celebrations of freedom even possible, perpetuating the hope we carry for the generations of Americans to come. Lord, we pray that you would strengthen us to lay all that divides us aside, and that this would be the occasion that through the power of your Holy Spirit, we would all choose to come together and unite as one nation under God, indivisible, never taken for granted both the blessings and the responsibilities of liberty. May our time together remind us of your goodness and your mercy and your love, and renew in each one of us a spirit of community service and humility and love for one another. We ask for your blessing upon this food, upon the hands that prepared it, and upon all who will share in it. May it nourish our bodies, just as your word nourishes our soul. For we cannot live on bread alone, but rather by every word from the mouth of God that you share so freely and abundantly with your children. And all of these things we pray in the name that's above all other names, Jesus Christ. And all God's children said, amen.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. I understand that you begin a lot of your mornings with a joke. I thought we were going to get a joke out of it today, but okay. The next thing on the agenda is I want to introduce Graham Davidson with the American Legion. He is the first vice commander.
All right, well, good afternoon, and on behalf of the Madison County American Legion Post 157, I just want to thank the county for allowing us to join as we celebrate America's 250th birthday. I'd also like to thank my fellow Legionnaires for the honor of representing our post and just representing the men and women who have served our nation. There's truly no greater honor than to be in uniform and to be here today to celebrate with you all. For generations, members of the American Legion have had the privilege of serving our nation. Through those experiences, we've witnessed both the blessings of freedom and the sacrifices required to preserve it. 250 years is a remarkable milestone. As we've already highlighted, the few nations in history have experienced the freedom and really the stability and opportunity that our Americans have enjoyed over the past 2.5 centuries. It's anniversaries like this that invite us to kind of take a look backwards, but also it invites us to ask an important question, and that's
exactly what really has sustained America's freedom over the past 250 years. I'd like to recognize those who have helped preserve the very freedom we celebrate today. Let us first remember those who gave what Abraham Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion. There were farmers who left their fields, teachers who left their classrooms, there were parents, sons, daughters, neighbors, friends, and others who answered our nation's call. Some returned home, some never did. Others remain missing, but they'll never be forgotten. So please join me in a moment of silence in their honor. Thank you. If you're currently serving in the armed forces, would you please stand or raise your hand? If you're a veteran of our nation's military, would you please stand? If you're a spouse, a parent, a family member, a child of some sort, someone who has served, could you please stand at this time? Can the rest of us please take a moment and thank these remarkable men and women for their sacrifices? Thank you. Freedom has always depended on ordinary people who were willing to do extraordinary things when our country, their community, and their neighbors needed them most. Freedom is never sustained by rights alone. It is sustained by the character of the people who exercise those rights. Our founders understood this. It was John Adams who famously wrote that our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. In other words, before we can govern a nation well, we must first learn to govern ourselves. This means that that healthy limits do preserve our identity. Just as a river without banks becomes a flood, a community without shared values can gradually lose its direction. Here in Madison County, many of us have learned life's most important lessons long before we studied civics or history. We learned them around the kitchen tables in churches, classrooms, on the farms and ball fields, and at our small businesses. Those places quietly taught us honesty, responsibility, service, faith, and love of neighbor. Those influences weren't meant to hold us back. They helped shape who we became. We have learned that our character grows best when there is order, when there's discipline, and there's care for each other. Anyone who has planted a garden knows that fruit doesn't grow in chaos. It grows through patience and through care. Communities are much the same. Strong communities don't simply happen. They're cultivated one family, one act of service, one good neighbor, and one generation at a time. So we've also learned that the values we live become an inheritance that we leave behind. Every generation inherits something. The question isn't whether we'll pass on something. The question is, what will we pass on? Here in Madison, we've inherited traditions worth preserving. Our faith, our family, the hard work of our citizens, the personal responsibility, service, love for our country, and love for our neighbor. But every inheritance comes with responsibility. Anyone who has ever sacrificed for the next generation understands this. It's parents, coaches, teachers, others. Every generation has accepted sacrifice so that the next generation might enjoy a greater freedom. For me personally, the clearest example of this comes from Jesus Christ. Philippians tells us that although he possessed all authority, he humbled himself, taking the form of a servant. To me, this is a reminder that genuine love willingly accepts sacrifice for the good of others. Military reflects the same principle. Every veteran understands that discipline isn't the opposite of freedom. It is the one thing that protects our freedom. Perhaps that brings us back to the question which I began with. What has sustained America's freedom over the past 250 years? It's certainly not just our wealth or just our military strength. It's been generation after generation of ordinary Americans accepting responsibility, cultivating our virtues. It's those who chose responsibility over entitlement, who served something greater than themselves, and who quietly passed those same values to the next generation. So as America begins its next 250 years, may we be faithful stewards of the inheritance we received and protected. May we preserve what is good. May we strengthen what is worth passing on. And may we leave behind a new generation worth inheriting. Or the next generation, something worth inheriting. So I thank you for this opportunity to speak again. May God bless our service member and our veterans. May God bless Madison County. And may God continue to bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Mr. Davison. What he also didn't share with you, because in Madison, we don't just have a job, there are many jobs. We're also not only thankful for Mr. Davison's service in the military, serving our country, he's also an elected member of our school board. So he is continuing to shape minds and give his time, and we're grateful for that. What a perfect segue. So I'm getting ready to get into announcing distinguished guests. This could be a very tricky part because you leave somebody off the list. Next thing you know, you're getting cut off in the highway or things show up in your mailbox. Hopefully I won't get audited. I like to first start more on the local level. So first I want to take our volunteer here and recognize Miss Cheryl Yao, who is our town manager for the town of Madison. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate all you do. And Cheryl, she won't take any credit, and she'll probably get for me to say this. You know, Tracy and Cheryl, the other day, Cheryl was like, hey, probably need to do some decorating. I said, all right, I'll go help. I'll bring a ladder. And I can't give excuses because I just got over a health thing. She was laughing at me, but we did get all the decorations up. So Cheryl, I want to thank you for really making everything look patriotic throughout the town and for here at the gazebo. Do we have any other town council members here? I thought I saw Council Member Charles Carter. Mr. Carter, former educator as well. Good to have you here, sir. Is Miss Pumphrey here? Councilwoman Pumphrey. Kim. I see people pointing. Miss Pumphrey's back there. She is on our town council. Thank you, Kim. Any other town council members? All right. I know we have in attendance, we have our treasurer, Miss Stephanie Murray. I did see our Commissioner of Revenue, Mr. Daniel, earlier, but I don't know if he's in the back. All right. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. He was doing traffic control before folks got here. We appreciate that. Also, we have our Commonwealth Attorney, Clarissa Berry, who will be speaking later. Thank you, Miss Berry. All right, this is the part that gets me in trouble. I'm going to get to the Board of Supervisors next. Any other, Sheriff Weaver? What I will say on behalf of Sheriff Weaver, I appreciate Mr. Seal and Mr. Estes who are here. A lot of times folks think just military, and that is important. We're very thankful for our first responders. We have our EMS, we have our Brothers in Red, the fire department, and also our law enforcement. So they don't generally let you know they're here, but we know we got to protect our distinguished guests in our community on a daily basis. So moving on to Board of Supervisors, we have Supervisor Mike Snyder. If you'll please raise your hand and be recognized. We have Supervisor Jewett. I saw him earlier, Supervisor Jewett. Vice Chairman Jewett, forgive me. Supervisor Sharman, who I tell you, if there's one who has the most energy, and I don't know, I'm not calling out our service members, but I would say the most energy and patriotism in this crowd, she'd probably be at the top of the list. You know, Miss Sharman, she campaigned on a lot about our history and our present and our future and preserving our history. And patriotism has always been big to her heart. I know Mike, her husband's a big historian as well. And she said, Jonathan, we need to do something. And she's right. You know, it's something I probably should have thought of earlier. So it was a lot planned to getting this together in 4 or 5 short months. But you led the way. You had the idea and the vision. So thank you, Supervisor Sharman. Supervisor Buchanan, back here, always willing to help. He did a lot of setup today. Also responsible, a good connection with getting the Culpeper Minuteman out today. We're thankful for that, sir. And then Chairman Yao is here as well. We appreciate you, sir, and leading the way of our elected officials. Is anybody I missed before I move on to our elected officials on the state and federal level? All right, I'm not seeing anything. Again, I'll check my mailbox later. All right, first I'd like to start, I guess there's an order, so I don't want to get out of order. I want to start with Congressman Eugene Vindman's office. Mr. Vindman cannot be here today. Mr. Francis will get into that momentarily. But Nathan Francis is here from the Congressman's office. We're very thankful for all our elected officials. We know they have families and loved ones as well as commitments. So thank you for being here. So Nathan, will you please come up now?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you to the board for having us, or myself today. The congressman, as Jonathan alluded, unfortunately could not make it. He had a family emergency that came up and had to travel out of town. But on his behalf today, I have a congressional record. So similarly to what Delegate Hamilton will read, this is something that is entered into the record, the United States Congress, the congressional record. And so I'll read it in part because I don't want to spoil any of the presentations from our historical associations, but it is typically something that is given as a floor speech. So it reads, Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize and celebrate Madison County, Virginia, as our nation commemorates the 250th anniversary of America's independence. Madison County sits at the intersection of some of the most historically significant sites of American history, critical to the foundation of our country. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Madison County reminds us that our nation's history was built by communities across the country and by generations of Americans whose hard work, sacrifice, and courage made our freedoms possible. Mr. Speaker, I ask my colleagues to join me in recognizing Madison County, Virginia for its remarkable contributions to our nation's history and in celebrating its role in this milestone anniversary of American independence. Absolutely. Happy 4th, happy 250. Stay cool, have lots of water. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate you being here. We know it's not just elected officials that help and do the work. It's those who are in the office as well. I had a pleasure to meet Nathan. I think this past year we were a recipient. Usually they're big checks, so you can get happy. You can't cash it, but we're still happy. They were able to come down. I believe it was part of the COPS grant. Around $450,000 came through that way, and I know the sheriff's office and other first responders are currently actively having, I think it's a bid out right now for a command post. So without that funding, it wouldn't be possible. It's one of those things you hope you never need, but when there's an emergency and our first responders need to coordinate together, that will be a true asset to have in those sad times. All right, next up, I would like to recognize Senator Bryce Reeves had a family emergency, so please keep him and his family in your prayers as well. But as I said, it's all about staff too, right? We have great people in offices. And this guy here, I'm getting ready to introduce. James, I apologize if I butcher your last name. But you talk about constituent service, and I had a pleasure to meet James through Supervisor Jewett. He said, hey, I need you to contact Bryce, but here's James' number. And, even as administrator, I try to be available, but, it does hit voicemail. I apologize. I don't get all of them. But I don't know if there's a time yet, and that's not putting you on the spot, James, that I've called his phone, not at a weird time. I call him 2 a.m. But when I call, he's right there and very responsive. I don't even think I barely hit send on an email before there's a response back. So I would like to recognize on behalf of State Senator Bryce Reeves' office, James Manetz, who will come and say a few words.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, first of all, to the Board of Supervisors, to the Madison 250 Committee, and to all the volunteers who are here today, braving the heat, to make this wonderful event happen. Thank you all very much for your hard work. Bryce asked me to deliver an apology to folks. I'm sure many of you all are aware by now, but back in December, his mother-in-law was diagnosed with late-stage pancreatic cancer. And, by the grace of God, she's still with us today, but unfortunately, over the past 48 hours, her health has pretty rapidly declined. So, he's spending time with family right now, as it should be. So we appreciate your patience. And he also wanted me to thank you all for the outpouring of support we've had from the community, for the messages of goodwill, for the prayers. It really means a lot to him and his family, so thank you. When he first told me I was going to be here on his behalf today, standing in front of this podium, I was pretty anxious. I've spoken as a surrogate for him before, but certainly not for an event as monumental as this. 250 years is pretty hard to wrap your head around, especially for a young man in his 20-something. Started my career, right? There's a lot of beautiful history that's gone into this great nation of ours that we live in. And, when I asked Bryce, what am I supposed to, I'm a young man, I don't have that much wisdom to offer, what am I supposed to say? And he looked at me and he said, figure it out. So I know I know a lot of people before me, that have come before me are a lot smarter, a lot wiser. So I figured it would be more appropriate to share someone else's quote with you. This is from Winston Churchill. I judge the civilization of any community by simple tests. What is the degree of freedom possessed by the citizen or subject? Can he think, speak, and act freely under well-established, well-known laws? Can he criticize the executive government? Can he sue the state if it has infringed his rights? And there are also great processes for changing the law to meet new conditions. Judging by these standards, the United States can claim to be in the forefront of civilized communities. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate 250 amazing years, and here's to the next 250.
Thank you, James, very much. He said I didn't butcher his name. I feel like he's just being overkind. And also, which wasn't mentioned there, Bryce is also a veteran, I believe, of the Army, if I remember correctly. Green Ranger? Okay, so we'd like to remember that as well. Just service. And the next individual I'm going to introduce, their family is service is really the theme. There is service that goes abroad. There's service in our nation. There's service in our general assemblies. And we're just so grateful that folks are willing to step up. If someone doesn't stand up for things or speak out, your voice isn't heard. And we have the Freedom Amendment, our First Amendment, because our brave military and those who are in elected office who represent us to make sure that voice is never silenced. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our delegate representing Madison County. There are other counties, but she's here from Madison, so we're going to say fully represents Madison. It's not one of those split counties that are in the district. I'd like to introduce Delegate Karen Hamilton. Again, I speak of service. We're also appreciative of Mr. Hamilton's service, who is now in the administration. So thank you very much for being here.
Well, let's give a quick round of applause again for the volunteers that put this event together. I know when you guys probably saw the weather, you were dreading the setup today, but everything looks phenomenal. And thank you for making this happen and allowing us all to be here and celebrate with you. Well, it's truly an honor to stand before you today as your newly elected delegate as we celebrate America's 250. 250 years ago, ordinary men and women made an extraordinary decision. They chose liberty over comfort, principle over power, and faith over fear. They pledged their life, their fortunes, and their sacred honor at a time when the punishment for such rebellion was to be hung, drawn, and quartered. Their courage gave birth to a nation unlike any the world had ever seen. A nation founded on the truth that our rights come not from the government, but from our Creator. As a Virginian and current representative seated in James Madison's former place in the House of Delegates, I cannot think of a better person to reflect upon than James Madison himself. We know Madison as the father of our Constitution, but I want to highlight one particular experience that shaped him long before the Constitutional Convention. As a young man, Madison witnessed Baptist ministers in Virginia being imprisoned simply because they preached the gospel without permission from the established church. He was deeply troubled that men could be jailed for sharing their faith, and that experience forever changed him. Madison came to believe that faith is not something government grants, but something government must protect. He understood that a truly free country is built upon the right to freely worship without government coercion or intimidation. And while this precious freedom has led to people from all corners of the earth and all faiths to find safe haven here, let us never forget our remarkable heritage. Because when we look at the document that was actually signed on this very day, 250 years ago, we see that God is referenced 4 times. You see, our founders knew that the success of America was dependent upon the providence and favor of the God of the Bible. And that's why we have the author or recorder of the 10 Commandments centered and overlooking the House floor in our United States Capitol. Not Socrates, not Aristotle, but Moses. Our founders understood something that we should never forget. A truly free people must first be a moral people. As John Adams rightly said, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. And he wasn't the only founding father to express this view. Indeed, James Madison himself wrote that our Constitution requires sufficient virtue among men for self-government. Otherwise, nothing less than the chains of despotism can restrain them from destroying and devouring one another. Sound familiar? Faith has always been the foundation that strengthens families, builds communities, and reminds us that true freedom comes with responsibility. Today, we gather not simply to celebrate our history, but to renew our commitment to the principles that have carried this nation through triumph and trial. The writings of our founders are more than just old documents displayed behind glass. They are a promise that government exists to serve the people, that liberty is worth protecting, that future generations deserve the same freedoms that we have inherited. So as we embark on the next 250 years, let us recalibrate our compass and once again make God's truth our guide. Let us remember past presidents' words that teach us that freedom is never sustained by accident nor absent of courage. It's preserved by citizens like you who stay informed, who serve their communities, who disagree with civility, and who stand for what is right no matter the cost. That responsibility now belongs to each of us, and as your delegate, I will strive every day to do my part to defend our liberties, to place service above self, and to remain faithful to the principles upon which this great nation was founded. So may we honor the sacrifices of those who came before us and leave an even stronger America for those who come after us. May God continue to bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and God continue to bless the United States of America. Now at this time, it's my honor to present this resolution to Madison County for its contribution to the United States and its foundation. Celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America and recognizing the historical contributions of Madison County, whereas the United States of America was founded on July 4th, 1776, with the adoption of the Declaration of Independence establishing a nation dedicated to the principles of liberty, equality, and self-governance. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, known as the semi-quincentennial, providing an opportunity to reflect upon the nation's history and celebrate communities that contributed to its development. And whereas the early settlement of what is now Madison County includes the arrival of German immigrants of the Second Germanic Colony in 1717, whose settlers established enduring agricultural, cultural, and religious traditions in the region. And whereas these Germanic settlers laid the foundation for one of the earliest Lutheran congregations in Virginia, with the Congregation of Hebron Lutheran Church organized around 1717 and present church building completed in 1740, serving as a lasting symbol of faith, community, continuity, and the contributions of early European settlers to the Commonwealth. And whereas Madison County was established in 1792 by an act of the Virginia General Assembly from a portion of Culpeper County, you guys got the best portion, and named in honor of President James Madison, reflecting its direct connection to the founding generation of the United States. And whereas Madison County is home to Rapidan Camp, established in 1929 by President Herbert Hoover as Hoover Camp, recognized as the first presidential retreat in the United States and a precursor to modern presidential retreats. And whereas lands within Madison County contributed to the establishment and expansion of Shenandoah National Park in the 1930s, reflecting the county's role in preserving Virginia's natural beauty and providing public access to the Blue Ridge Mountains, including Old Rag, which is the #1 trailhead of the park. And whereas Madison County is also associated with James Lawson Kemper, a former Virginia governor and lawyer whose mansion, known as the Kemper Mansion, resides in Madison County, further reflecting the county's connections to significant periods in Commonwealth history. It's my honor to present this from the House of Delegates and the Senate, concurring that the General Assembly hereby commemorate the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America and recognize the historical contributions of Madison County to the Commonwealth and the nation. Thank you all for having me today. I appreciate being with you.
Delegate Hamilton, hold on just a second. So Delegate Hamilton carried a number of bills for us in the General Assembly this past session, and as did State Senator Reeves. They didn't make the cut, but we opened some eyes, and I think when we go back, we will probably be successful this time. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Delegate Hamilton. That's right. There's always round two. We don't give up. We fight. It's what we do around here, right? We're mountaineers. We have Minutemen. We fight. We don't give up. All right. I'm not the one to get between you and your food. All right. But I do want to take a moment to thank all those who came out today. Whether it's the food trucks, please visit them. They've got a lot of good stuff there. If you go home hungry, it's your own fault. Again, we had the museum open. If you kind of go around that big black Super Duty there, there's a sidewalk, go down in the basement, it's nice and cool in there. You'll see a lot of cool things, like they might even have the railroad display. What do you mean? There's not a railroad in Madison. They were when we had chestnut trees. So you'll learn about that there. Go to the library. Ms. Oots, I don't know if the library is in there today, but there's someone in there, I'm sure, that can give you the history of the library. See a lot of good stuff. Who knows? You might want to read a book again that you haven't had in a while. I want to give thanks to our service members in the back. I notice our recruiters are there for the Navy and the Marines. Thank you very much for your service, for being here. God bless you. And something I want to point out here too, and I don't have favorite tents. I just mentioned some names louder than others, so don't get ahead of yourself. But it is very telling to me, and this is me speaking. I don't speak on behalf of the board, and I'm not trying to indoctrinate you. If you feel that way, you're convicted, not me. But Madison is truly a Bible Belt. And you talk about the founding fathers and all of our documents. I think it was said God was mentioned 4 times. Look back. We have a lot of, not only our historic churches, most of our historic churches are here, but our church community is here. Many of those members not only just represent their congregations that they are with day in and day out, they're also members of our community that are involved with many other organizations or in our time of need. And that's what it's about, being there for your neighbor. And I say this a long time, and then I'm going to shut up. Tennessee is known as the volunteer state, but I've always said Madison is the volunteer county. We've got great people here, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. So this is formally the intermission. John's going to play some music. I am not dancing. But I will say, take your time. Please stay cool. There are tents. Please go out and see Salvation Army's back there, a wonderful EMS. If you're looking for a job opportunity, they may have an application, but they do have bottled water. Come meet the people who serve your community, our church communities. I also see, again, the recruit. That's between you and your parents if you're underage. But go see our recruiters. Go enjoy the food as Brother Tucker have already blessed it. Don, I'm turning it over to you. And folks, come back here. Public school system. Can we give her a hand? 54? 54 years. It's just amazing. I was a product of being around her and her good family. And again, it's about volunteering and being a part of community, and we're so glad to have her and her family here with us today. All right, next up, because I am behind, I have the pleasure to introduce one of our wonderful supervisors, Supervisor Judd Buchanan, who will be having a few remarks and introducing our next speaker. Mr. Buchanan?
First off, thanks for all you people that showed up on this just a tad warm day. I'd like to introduce, it's my pleasure to introduce two gentlemen who've done a tremendous amount to preserve and share the history of this great nation. Mark Crane, President of the Culpeper Minutemen, and Tom Hamill, Treasurer of the organization. Come on up. The Culpeper Minutemen proudly carry on the legacy of the original citizen soldiers who answered the call for liberty in 1775. The history is especially meaningful here in Madison. We were known as Culpeper back then, as many of the Madison men served alongside their neighbors as part of the original Culpeper Minutemen, standing together in defense of freedom that would become the foundation of our nation. Please join me in welcoming Mark Crane and Tom Hamill. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. We have our color guard getting our flags in order here. My name is Tom Hamill. I'm a past president of the Culpeper Minutemen and its current treasurer. It's great to see so many people out on this extremely hot day. We have to look at our history and make sure that we're, even if we're uncomfortable, that we're making sure that we're losing my thoughts here. Anyway. So today I'd like to share the remarkable story of the Culpeper Minutemen, a group of ordinary Virginians who answered an extraordinary call during the opening days of the American Revolution. Though they existed for little more than a year, their courage and sacrifice helped shape the future of Virginia and ultimately the United States. In May of 1775, tensions between Great Britain and the American colonies had reached a breaking point. Just 1 month earlier, the first shots of the Revolution had been fired at Lexington and Concord. The people of Virginia realized that war was no longer a distant possibility. It had become a reality. Meeting in Richmond, the Third Virginia Convention divided the colony into 16 military districts and ordered each district to raise and train a battalion of men who could march at a minute's notice. These citizen soldiers became known as Minutemen because they were expected to leave their homes and farms at a moment's notice whenever they were called. Now, the counties of Fauquier, Orange, Culpeper, which included Madison County at the time, were grouped together into one district. And together they raised approximately 350 men, 150 from Culpeper, 100 from Orange, and 100 from Fauquier County. On July 17, 1775, these volunteers gathered beneath a large oak tree in what was known as Clayton's Old Field, later called Catalpa Farm. There, the Culpeper Minute Battalion was officially organized. Leadership was entrusted to respected men from each county. Lawrence Tolliver from Orange became the battalion's colonel. Edward Stevens of Culpeper was appointed the lieutenant colonel, and Thomas Marshall of Fauquier became major. Among the company's commanders were local leaders, public officials, even a Baptist minister, Captain McClanahan, who preached to his soldiers as faithfully as he trained them. Now, one interesting aspect of the battalion reflected the customs of the time. The Committee of Safety encouraged companies to be organized by religious denominations. So Baptists served together, Methodists formed their own companies, and these deeply held beliefs strengthened the bonds between the men as they prepared to defend what they believed was their God-given right to liberty. The Culpeper Minutemen quickly became famous for their distinctive, fearsome appearance. Instead of the bright red uniforms worn by the British Army, they wore practical hunting shirts made from strong linen, most of them dyed in green or brown to the natural extracts of the leaves. Across the chest of every shirt was stitched the powerful words in large white letters, "Liberty or Death." Their flag was just as memorable. It featured a coiled rattlesnake with 13 rattles, representing the 13 colonies ready to strike. Got it down there. Beneath it were the now famous words, "Don't tread on me." On either side appeared the words, "Liberty or death," and across the top, the Culpeper Minutemen. The uniform and the flag sent a clear message. These were not professional soldiers fighting for a king. These were free citizens determined to defend their homes, their families, and their liberties. There was even a touch of humor preserved in local tradition. One colorful resident reportedly said that he thought the motto, "Liberty or death," a little bit too extreme. He claimed he would gladly enlist if they would simply change it to "Liberty or be crippled." Even in the uncertain times of 1775, Virginians had not lost their sense of humor.
All right. Thank you, Tom. I'm Mark Crane. I'm the chapter president for the Culpeper Minutemen. And it's a pleasure to be here in front of you folks today and make sure everybody stays hydrated. So by September 1775, the battalion was recruiting rapidly. While one rifle company joined the newly forming Continental Army, the Minutemen assembled in Culpeper and prepared for active service. Within weeks, they were marching towards Williamsburg, where the growing conflict with the British demanded immediate action. Their first significant action came near Hampton in October 1775. On October 25th, British ships attempted to bombard Hampton. Captain Buford took a company of riflemen and stationed them in a house at a breastwork to intercept the ships. When daybreak came, the ships arrived and began their bombardment of the town. However, they were met with accurate, withering rifle fire from the Culpeper Minutemen. So fierce was the fire that the men on the ships were unable to man their guns, and the British sailors fled to safety. As a result of the Culpeper Minutemen's actions, the British tender Hawk was captured, which was quite a coup back in those days to take a British ship. Upon returning to Williamsburg, they joined Colonel Woodford's 2nd Virginia Regiment and marched to block Great Bridge south of Norfolk and potentially dislodge a British force at Fort Murray. At daybreak on December 9th, a company of British grenadiers from the fort charged across the bridge. The Culpeper Minutemen, spurred on by the bravery of one Billy Flora, a free black man from Princess Anne County, stopped the attack, causing a British retreat to Norfolk and the safety of their ships. The victory at Great Bridge was far more significant than the actual minor casualty numbers might have suggested. It forced Lord Dunmore to abandon his position as the British Royal Governor of Virginia and retreat to the British ships moored offshore in Norfolk Harbor. Norfolk soon fell into the American hands, and although fighting continued elsewhere, British authority in Virginia had effectively collapsed. Virginia was now free to support the Revolutionary War cause with troops, supplies, and leadership throughout all of the theaters of the war. The Culpeper Minutemen continued serving through operations around Norfolk until it was burned to the ground in January 1776. And later performed, welcome to Norfolk. And later performed garrison duty near Jamestown. Others later joined the Continental Regiments, where they continued fighting. Several original members eventually suffered through the terrible winter at Valley Forge alongside George Washington's Continental Army. As the Continental Army expanded during 1776, many officers and enlisted men transferred into the regular regiments. And finally, on December 17, 1776, the Virginia House of Delegates abolished the Minute Battalions, ending the brief existence of the Culpeper Minute Battalion. Although they served for only about 15 months, their impact was far greater than their short history might suggest. The victory at Great Bridge secured Virginia at a critical moment in the Revolution. Because British forces were driven from the colony, Virginia became a reliable source of soldiers, food, weapons, and supplies for the Continental Army for the years to come. Historians have often noted that without Virginia's continued support, the outcome of the Revolutionary War might have been very different. Today, when we remember the Culpeper Minutemen, we remember more than a military unit. We remember farmers, merchants, ministers, craftsmen, and neighbors who left their ordinary lives to defend extraordinary principles. And while their uniforms have long since faded, their flag has become an enduring American symbol. Their example remains as powerful today as it was in 1775. They stood ready at a minute's notice because they believed that liberty was worth protecting, worth sacrificing for, and worth passing on to future generations. So now, more than 250 years later, we continue to benefit from the courage of those Virginia patriots who first gathered beneath an oak tree and answered history's call. So, thank you, everyone, and God bless America. Thank you all.
Mark, thank you and all the Minutemen. It means a lot, especially if there's young kids out here, to be able to see really our history and our living history and kind of take you through the time before Madison County actually existed. And I will make a plug. There's an upcoming play, I'm going to get the name wrong, the Madison, Virginia Madison Virginia Performing Arts. They're going to be doing a play in September that is actually the Minutemen. So look for that coming up on the tourism Facebook page. All right, next up, I would like to introduce Miss Mao with the American Legion Auxiliary.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am here to introduce Molly Tucker, who is our Girls State Delegate. What is a Girls State? Every spring, each state in America, from the American Legion Auxiliary Units, sponsors a 5-day concert for conference for rising senior girls. They participate in a hands-on workshop to learn more about good state governance. This event is called Girl State. Madison's Girl State Delegate was selected based on excellence in scholarship, citizenship, and a sincere interest in learning about state governance. Past Madison Girl State delegates include Caroline Wright, and in her day, Madison's own Commonwealth Attorney, Clarissa Berry. Molly Tucker is Madison's Girl State Delegate for 2026. Molly has just returned from this experience, and she is here to share a few of her impressions and knowledge gained. It's a pleasure to introduce Molly Tucker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Molly Tucker, and this summer I had the honor of being sponsored by our American Legion Auxiliary to attend Girls State. First, though, I would like to acknowledge the reason why we have gathered here today. We are not just here to mark another anniversary, we are celebrating 250 years of our history and spirit. Across that span of time, we have seen incredible change, challenges, and countless moments of joy and growth. From its beginnings, this country has been shaped by the dedication and vision of its people, whose hard work, dreams, and resilience are the foundation of everything we cherish today. This anniversary is a moment where we can all come together to celebrate and acknowledge that legacy regardless of our differences. I trust that we can look back with gratitude while we can also look forward with hope. Now, I would like to share a bit about an incredible opportunity I recently had. 2 weeks ago, I had the honor of attending Girls State on behalf of Madison County. If you are unsure of what Girls State is, it's a week-long program where rising high school seniors participate in an immersive mock government. It was an experience that opened my eyes to the world of civics and leadership, and I'm so grateful for every moment of it. Beyond an incredible learning experience, Girls State also offered something truly invaluable: connections. I arrived not knowing a singular girl, but a bond quickly formed among us delegates from all across the state. We became a family, supporting each other in ways I hadn't anticipated. I remember vividly how we worked together during the campaign. One of the girls in my city ran for governor, which is one of the big 3 positions. We stayed up past midnight watching Love Island while we helped make her campaigning materials for the following days. We didn't do it for individual success. We came together to lift each other up and support our journeys. Before Girls State, I had a general idea of how government worked, but being fully immersed in it truly changed my perspective on it. I learned firsthand about the legislative process, the importance of debate, and the power of collaboration. That week proved to me that every voice matters and that informed, engaged citizens are the backbone of a thriving society. What I walked away from Girls State most of all was a renewed sense of purpose and a clear understanding of the impact individuals can have when we work as a team. The connections I made, the challenges I faced, and the lessons I learned have all inspired me to pursue more opportunities where I can continue to contribute to my community and hopefully engage in public service in the future. Girls State was an unforgettable journey that shaped my perspective and ignited a new passion for making a positive change. I can't fully express my gratitude in words, but still, I would like to thank Madison's American Legion Auxiliary for granting me such an amazing opportunity, and I wish you all a happy 250th.
That is excellent. Thank you, Ms. Tucker. It's nice to see what'll be your next leaders. No matter where you live, when I had the opportunity to come talk to a lot of the English dual enrollment classes, I say wherever you live, there's local government. Get involved. You've got leadership written all over you. So thank you for being here. We're proud of you. All right. Next up, I would like to introduce the Walker family from Mount Pisgah. Did I say Pisgah? I knew I was going to mess it up. I'm sorry. But heard a lot about you. Miss Essie Berry has really said we're in for a treat today. So we are glad to have you here. So if you will, do a warm welcome for the Walker family, and then we're going to let you have at it.
One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours, it'll be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, oh, glory, oh, glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Every day, women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is just a position in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa said on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots were on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day,
summer is now. For every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes, to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal, the king became regal. Sort of should have placed under a bald eagle. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing, our music is a cut, still we bleed through. Somewhere in a dream we had an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs in history. No one can win the war individually. It takes other elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes, we seen the glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours. It'll be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory. Glory. Oh, glory. Oh, glory.
Now before we leave, I'm gonna end with a poem that I wrote maybe like 10 years ago. So, why are we killing each other? Didn't God say we're all sisters and brothers, one way or another? We can start off as friends, but instead of acting like grown women and men, we'll be fighting one another again and again until one life gets cut short and comes to an end. What about the children, our future and pride? Can't you see the hurt and pain that they're feeling inside? Violence in homes, school, and on TV. Every time they open their eyes is all that they see. How are we supposed to make them feel protected and safe when little girls are out here every day getting abused and raped? Maniacs running around, shooting everybody in sight, even the innocent ones who can't put up a fight. See me, I dream of a world filled with Christian love, where we can unite and come together like hands and gloves. Stick together like feathers on a dove to create that place that we all dreamed of. That's my dream, I'm here to put it in motion. Man, I ain't got no time for playing and joking. I will not stop until my mission is complete to make this world a better place for all of y'all and me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Walker family. All right, I will call Miss Mao back to the stage from the American Legion Auxiliary. She is going to present some of the essay winners.
Back in February, March, the state of Virginia put out a competition for essays for grades 3 through 12. The title of the essays was to be Celebrating America's 250th Birthday and the Veterans Who Fought for Our Freedom. It was divided up into basically the schools. And today you're going to hear from the gold medal winners of both Waverly Yao and Wetzel. The first one will be from Waverly Yao, Ava Douglas. And she is a 5th grader, rising to 6, and she is going to be the first to give her essay.
Imagine turning 250 years old. That's exactly how old America is. It's the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Also 250 years of service from veterans. Our country's history is only made possible because of those who defended and protected it. Honoring veterans is one of the ways we can celebrate America's birthday. Throughout American history, veterans have protected our freedom by protecting our country. Some veterans are still standing even without their uniforms on. Others have unfortunately passed away. Veterans have risked their lives to help protect America, so the least we can do is honor them. Veterans have defended things like going to school, speaking an opinion freely, and simply feeling safe. They had tremendous courage and patriotism, which led them to making America a better place. We can celebrate veteran contributions by writing thank you cards, volunteering in local celebrations or parades, or interviewing a local veteran or hero. My own experience with veterans is that my 2 uncles served in the Army. One of them served 5 years, the other served 8 years. They went through a lot to help our country. It's important for people to keep these stories alive so that they can know what veterans went through to help our country. Veterans and noble heroes have shaped what America is today. American history and its stories are essential for future generations to understand what happened and so that they can know if they want to help America too. America's long history will only go further and longer. Thank you.
Our second essay winner is from Wetzel, and that is Catherine Fitcham. And she was an 8th grader, and she is rising to 9th grade. So, Catherine?
I believe that celebrating for America and our veterans is very important because the people that work to get America this far and veterans have gone through so much and made so many sacrifices for our country. Despite the amount of wars and bad time periods America has gone through, we always come back stronger. We are always ready to fight for what's right and will continue to do so, and there will be so many more anniversaries and birthdays to come. Veterans go through hardships daily. No matter the reason they are fighting, they will do whatever they can to make America better. Also, their families who lost a member due to their fighting deserve so much more respect. They not only lost a loved one, but they lost someone whom would die for their country. Don't get me wrong, but America has its good moments too. With winning major wars, being able to provide people freedom, and just doing whatever possible for the people. America is for the people, by the people, and is proud to be that way. We may not think it is, but 250 years is a long time. To think that we have been united together as a country for 250 years is insane. It's such a big milestone for America, especially after everything bad that has happened. We stick together. Everyone may not always agree with each other, but we forgive and we build new ways so everyone is happy. Everyone in America can celebrate these 250 years together because America gives them the opportunity. On July 4th this year, so many people will be celebrating together as a whole. We will all be celebrating these amazing 250 years together and what a big accomplishment it is. I think America is amazing because here you'll always have someone to lean on and people who are willing to fight for you 24/7. We will have so many more birthdays to come and each one will be better than the last. The veterans of America will be ready to do what's right and help no matter what.
Everybody get your ice cream? No, or if you had it, everybody's asleep. One, the other. Thank you, sir. That's perfection. That's why you have a professional doing this. Thank you, John. And again, we love our youth. I tell you, it's just pleasing the heart to see our youth involved. You are the future, so keep pushing on. All right, next up, I have the pleasure to introduce one of our first two guests who will be speaking about Madison County history.
So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Misha Jones.
Good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Milestones like this invite us to reflect not only of where we've been, but where we're going. Every generation leaves something behind. Tonight, we celebrate the generations that came before us while asking ourselves, what legacy will we leave for the next 250 years? As I thought about this evening, and one question came to mind. Would I have ever imagined that I would be standing here sharing these stories? What makes this moment especially meaningful is the history we celebrate isn't somewhere else. It's right here around us. Just a short distance from where we are gathered, African American members of Beth Carr Church established Antioch Baptist Church in 1868. It was a place of faith, hope, and community for generations. Just across from the General District Court on Church Street stood Madison County's first African American school, established between 1868 and 1871 and documented in the Freedmen's Bureau records. Its first recorded teacher was Roberta Scott. Imagine what this school represented just a few years after emancipation, a place where education became a pathway to opportunity and a brighter future. Then in 1893 and 1894, Antioch Baptist Church and the Grand United Order of Oddfellows partnered to build a new church. The congregation worshiped on the first floor while the Oddfellows met upstairs. It was more than a shared building. It was a partnership built on faith, service, and a shared commitment to strengthen the community. As the organization continued to grow, the Oddfellows Hall purchased a land on the south end of Madison, and in 1917 constructed a lodge hall that still stands today, a lasting symbol of leadership, resilience, and community. When we hear the dates 1868, 1894, and 1917, they aren't just moments on a timeline. They represent the people who believed in
Choir colleagues, if you will, had recommended the song, and it's on the back of the program. So if you don't have a program, raise your hand. My wife Cindy, who's back at the information table, Cindy, just raise your hand. We're not going to keep talking from the Dawsons. We love the Dawsons, but if you need a program, just raise your hand. She'll bring one around. So when it comes time for the choir to sing "Madison, That's You," that is the official adopted song for this local 250 event via resolution by the Board of Supervisors. So we're so thankful to have you here. The floor is yours.
And we're going to sing It's a Grand Old Flag, and I think you know this one, so please do join in. So this is called Madison, Virginia, That's You. It was a song that won a contest that Madison County sponsored, I guess, in the bicentennial year, and had not been really performed much in public until the Historical Society recommended it to us, and we sang it at the Legion this spring for Memorial Day. We're going to sing it through once so you can hear how it goes. The words are on the back of your program, and then we hope you'll join us for a second go-round.
This important to recall,
thank you so much to the Madison Community Choir, and correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, and some of the other community choir members. I believe this song was adopted for the cinquentennial, or excuse me, bicentennial, but I don't believe it was ever sung. So
it was not. It was a contest that the county board held, I believe, and this song won, and I don't think it's ever been heard since the contest until this year.
So we appreciate you all bringing it to light and being here to sing it. So hope you all enjoyed it. That was history in the making. Thank you so much. All right, next up, you may know him as Chairman Yao. I might call him Uncle Sam for this. But I'd like to welcome Chairman Yao up for the reading of the Declaration of Independence. Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, let's see. I think that's good. So, yeah, I was charged with reading the Declaration of Independence, but first of all, I want to read this article that was in the Culpeper Exponent about a month ago about how the Declaration got written. It's real short. So 250 years ago, on June the 11th, 1776, the Continental Congress appointed a committee of 5 to propose a declaration explaining why the colonies were breaking from Great Britain. There was John Adams of Massachusetts, Ben Franklin of Pennsylvania, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, Robert Livingston of New York, and Thomas Jefferson of Virginia. Now, this Continental Congress, they understood that declaring independence required more than just a vote. It needed a public explanation, a statement of principles, and a way to persuade the people across the colonies that the risk was worth taking. Got a cool mic now.
There you go.
So, woohoo! So the Continental Congress figured that they needed a public explanation, and so the harder question was, who could write it between those 5? So why Jefferson? Well, by all accounts, he was quiet and rarely spoke before his fellow patriots. He was neither the beloved statesman that Franklin had become, nor the firebrand Adams was in Congress. Franklin declined the pen because, as the story goes, he was afraid delegates would laugh at whatever he produced. Adams would have written something 20 pages long that nobody would read. So, like Goldilocks looking for just the right fit, Congress selected Jefferson for his beautiful, concise writing. So he had 17 days to produce this draft. No pressure. The committee made only minor changes to Jefferson's draft. Congress made many more later, and in less than a month, the motion put forward by Virginian Richard Henry Lee had become a declaration that would change the course of history. So that's how the writing made it from June the 11th to July 4th. So now for the Declaration of Independence, I invite you to reflect on the words that were adopted by the Continental Congress in 1776, the words that announced the birth of a new nation and expressed the principles upon which the United States was founded. So here we go. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and the nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Very important. That when any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assemble, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states. 2, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown. Thirdly, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of the divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. So in closing, these words have echoed through generations of Americans and continue to remind us of the enduring principles of liberty, equality, self-government, and civic responsibility. Thank you, and happy Independence Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have that twang. What I like, Supervisor Yao just has that nice, deep voice. Perfect for the declaration, sir. Thank you. All right, next up. I told you I didn't have favorites, but I tell you, nothing gets me fired up like some drums. So now we have the drum line from the Madison County Band, the Marching Band High School.
Good, I'm on. I do want to recognize, these all look like students. That's how young this gentleman looks right here. But this is our band, and I believe you do choir as well, sir. This is Mr. Coates, our band and choir instructor from Madison. We're so thankful to have you, sir. So thankful for you bringing the band out. We love it. I'm always at the football games. It fires me up, but thank y'all for being part of this. If you want to take us away, we'll love that too, sir. They're walking out. How about another round for the Madison County Band? We love the arts. We love the program. All right. I play air guitar. I was never gifted to play drums. All right, next up, I have the pleasure to introduce our wonderful Commonwealth attorney who is here to give remarks on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Miss Berry?
Oh gosh, I'm too short. I'm sorry. I feel a little bit like I got tricked having to go after the drum line, which was spectacular, and Pastor Tucker, who stole a little bit of the things that I wanted to say. Because his story about Elijah Craig, while it's kind of a funny story to me, because obviously he went on to Kentucky and helped develop the bourbon industry there, and he's a Baptist. It's a little funny. But it also encapsulates so well to me what life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is, and how Madison County, how we as a community really embody that, and that is something that we have carried through for the past 250 years. When you say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and you talk about and you think about what does that mean? What does that mean that we can do? It helps to remember that before Jefferson wrote Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness, John Locke had written Life, Liberty, and Property. And Jefferson and his fellow delegates changed that to the pursuit of happiness. And in the context of 1776, that is such an exciting thing because it speaks to the amount of hope that they had, that they were hopeful for the future that would be full of freedom, where they could live in liberty, protect themselves and their families. And that's what we do today. When I think about what it means to have a good life, and it means to feel safe and secure. And that's what Madison County is. For so many of us, it's not really a safety net, it's more like a trampoline. The folks in this community will catch you, they will help you, and then they're gonna toss you back out there and let you stand on your own 2 feet. You just have to look at the community members who donate to Mesa, who volunteer at Madison Day. We are committed to a good life. We are committed to liberty. We've got that independent streak where we are going to do what we think is right, regardless of what might be popular. And we are always going to fight for the pursuit of happiness. I remember growing up where the joke was that Madison wasn't going to be eligible for the after prom party prize anymore because we kept winning it. I think by that point they'd won it for like 15 years in a row. And that's because if we do one thing well in this county, it is throw a good party. And we will do it in a minute. We don't need a lot of people. We just need excitement. And so I think that's exactly what this event is. It's something that we didn't think we were going to be able to do because it was so hot. We all came out. It's been a wonderful event with wonderful speakers. And that's who we are. And that's how we continue to live life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thank you all for being here and being a part of this. That is amazing.
Thank you, Clarissa. Well, and I also, again, don't like putting people on the spot. Before I call our next wonderful speaker to close us out, I do want to recognize, I didn't recognize them earlier, DSS. For those of you who may not know, there's many things they do. A lot of times they have to deal with the things that many of us wouldn't want to. I spoke earlier about community and the sense of community. And a lot of times there are certain things in the job title, but I can assure you our DSS group is above and beyond. They're not looking at the job description to see what's in there. Even recently, they reached out, hey, should do a cooling shelter. People need a place to go, cool down. Their ideas, they run with it, they staff it. If we get into emergency crisis like the wildfire or anything, they are always there as community partners. We don't look, are you a state agency or, what's your role? It's all about helping the people that's here in this community. So thanks to DSS for all you do as well. All right, without further ado, I spoke about the most patriotic person earlier when I started this thing, and I'm so thankful for Supervisor Sharman. Again, I know she's very passionate, not only about the 250th, about our nation and founding, but specifically the 250th. I know her and her husband Mike, I think they've been to Yorktown and a lot of other celebrations that are going on this year. So it's my honor for the closing remarks to present to you Supervisor Sharman.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. First of all, I do want to recognize John James, and I want to say thank you so much for that song, American Soldier, sung by Toby Keith. One of those songs that always make you cry because it's just a throwback. But I want to thank everyone that's here today. I especially want to thank, and I know that he hasn't gotten enough recognition here, but there were two of us on the board that were given this task, and I was one, but Judd Buchanan was the other one, and I want to make sure that he gets those accolades, because I'm telling you what, he worked diligently, but I had such a wonderful group of volunteers that you hardly had it out of your mouth before it was done, or you didn't even get to put your thoughts on paper before it was on paper and handed to you, and this is what you're doing next. I want to say thank you to our vendors. Thank you for our participants. Thank you for your love for Madison. Thank you for your love for America. And thank you, everyone, throughout our town and our county, all in support of our 250th year of independence, standing together in faith for our families and for our freedom. One of my favorite quotes are Ronald Reagan's quote. He said, "America is too great for small dreams." Madison, you are too great for small dreams. Remembering this day, July 2nd in 1776, with a heart of gratitude and celebration, John Adams wrote to his wife, Abigail. He said, "I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfire, and its illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore." You can say amen to that. And as we close out this, our celebration, may we be purposeful in preparing the future and preserving the past. May we thank God for our great Madison County, and thank you all for every opportunity to keep Madison great and to celebrate with one another. I am proud to be an American. Say it with me. I am proud to be an American. And all together we can say amen.
folks, that does complete the program. I do not want to let one thing go, though. I want to thank the committee, the whole 250 committee. There was plenty of folks that was a part of that, pulling this together. So thankful. Do not let this stop. As Ms. Sharman would say, we're going to celebrate all year long. We have the Fireman's Parade coming up. The theme's 250, so hopefully folks will donate their, or not donate, I guess they could donate their floats. They'll decorate their floats for the 250th. We'll also be having things at the fair. I believe Taste of the Mountains is Taste of the Freedom of the Mountains Festival coming up. So this will go all year long. So your patriotism doesn't stop today. But thank you all for coming. We hope you have a safe drive home. John James is going to play us out. Proud to be American. God bless you all.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and making this such a special day that it is. I'm just getting my voice back. I'm actually going to not just play it, I'm going to sing it for you. So I want you all to join in with me.